Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know exactly what's going on over here, but I will try to analyze it here with you. What is going on with Putin and the submarines? I have a theory why Putin is speeding up the production of nuclear submarines. And I will share that with you. I mean, he is visiting a shipyard to oversee the commissioning of new Russian nuclear submarines, plural. Why is he building so many nuclear submarines? I have a theory, but let me show you first. So you ask yourself that question, give yourself the answer, and then we'll see in about 5 minutes if we reach the same conclusion. I think we will not reach the same conclusion, but maybe. It doesn't mean that you're wrong or anything, because this is just, analyzing. Associated Press. Putin visits a shipyard to oversee the commissioning of new Russian nuclear submarines. So here is the guy. All right. Okay. Russian president on Monday traveled to a shipyard to attend the commissioning of new nuclear submarines, a visit that showcased the country's nuclear might amid the fighting in Ukraine. He's not going to use nuclear submarines against Ukraine. So what is the goal? All right, we move on. Putin's trip to the Sevmash shipyard in Severodvinsk, I thought it was Severodonetsk, Severodvinsk in Russia's northwestern Arkhangelsk region comes 3 days after he declared his intention to seek another 6-year term. So Putin announced his decision. Okay, let's see how many. Oh, here it is. Jesus Christ, right there. Not easy. Not easy. So, all right, that's one. So what do you think? What is your theory? Why do you think he built? Just because it's just going like from a momentum, you just pushed it and it just keeps rolling? Obviously, if you have 100 submarines or 200 submarines, I'm just saying, and you have all armed and they are around, let's say, wherever your strategic positions are, what are the odds that when an order is given and they're about to launch their nuclear missiles towards the enemies, they get shot, destroyed under the water by the enemy's submarine who's just waiting? I don't think the chances are high at all. Now, so it can't be that, the more, the better. That's true. But the more, the increased the risk of people not following orders. Therefore, switching the submarine to a certain direction. Can you turn it off from somewhere else? From a head office somewhere? If someone decides to get off course and goes to the enemy or not? No, that's not my theory. This is my theory. Are you familiar with, or I read it, I can remember, I think it was his political testament. And I'm talking about that, the most evil person in the world. His name is Adolf. And in his alleged political testament that you can still find, even to listen to it, but I don't think you can find on YouTube anymore. I know I found it narrated by someone with a German accent. That was the best, feel of it. But I don't think you can still find it. If you go on online, you can go and find it narrated. Or anyway, I think in that testament he says, according to that piece of paper, that document, that he talks about the Hitlerjugend, the young generation, that he said he was very proud of it, and from there they will not extinguish his name or something like that, because they will rise up again and his name will be cleared by history and so on, something along those lines. I don't know, it was some time when I listened to that one. And but it was something like, because I know it rang a bell and remained right here. So that is things like the seeds that he planted, put in Hitler with his ideology in schools and all that, they grew, and they had to hide, obviously, during the who's who, what's what, after the war and so on, and the next decades. But they still influenced their children, and I'm pretty sure in Germany there's a lot of clubs that are still, having those kind of ideology somewhere like that, or whomever fled the country. So my point is, what if Putin, like Hitler, if he's going to lose, he's going to leave behind so much destruction and such a thing that cannot be controlled, even if a coup occurs in Moscow. Even, let's say, tomorrow something happens and about, 300 the most prominent leaders, the guys in charge of the Ukraine's political military system, are just annihilated. The guys on the submarines, you can't control them. And they could potentially continue the fight for Putin, which is, this is, our country was its existential threat. Its existence was threatened. Therefore, the use of nuclear weapons is under their doctrine of nuclear weapons use that qualifies. Therefore, the submarines will start destroying everything. The more you have, the more destruction. Could that be why this guy is looking for submarines? Because if you have bombers, or you just push buttons, all those things could be, if you got the right people in the right time, at the same moment, you can potentially stop it. But the submarines, you can't really control 200 submarines dispatched at one point. Even though, as I said, it's almost impossible to get all the Russian military under the control in 1 second. So if you do it here, the other ones are going to adjust and they're going to break away. They're going to replan and say, we're going to do this, get back off. Even though I think that if Putin is gone, there will be, Putin already, I think, planned strategically. If the central office is gone, you're going to have areas in Russia that will be independent, sovereign of the command of Moscow. That means these guys in Moscow cannot override these groups' decisions to threaten. If you don't leave, we're going to bombard everything. And we're going to just go and see Jesus, Moses, Allah, Krishna, or whomever, Buddha, Brahma, and who knows, okay, or nobody. I think. So that's my theory. Or obviously this is one of many others, but I think this is this obsession of the submarines. Why do I say obsession? I've seen the Russia already had like 3 out again, some vessels, some. It's just a theory. And if it's not the submarines, I think Putin already planned. He's not an idiot guy. He already planned, if I'm out, you have the resistance groups that are gonna be autonomous from the central office, wherever in Moscow. These guys are gonna destroy us. I think that's 99% certain. I don't think they're so idiots to just, if I die, we lose. I mean, in this guy's infantile level of understanding things, and would work if you tell them, hey, actually Putin is so stupid, he didn't plan for anything. If you just, as Lindsey Graham, if you take out Putin, everything is, I mean, it's an infantile worldview, which Lindsey Graham is an infantile, and he's an elected official of South Carolina. Biden is an elected official of the United States of America. 90 million people voted for him, thought that he is a okay guy, and Kamala Harris as well. So that tells you the sophistication of an educated society. When you have the mass media in the hands of some, and those some have the money that have the politicians pushed in front of you, the mass media creates that's a good guy, yeah, we're gonna vote for that. You got the education system that tells you you're uneducated, but you're not actually. Why? Can you compare? You can compare. You compare with people around you. I'm educated because if you have two idiots next to one another, they think they're geniuses because they're both idiots. Unless a guy a little bit better than them comes around and say, wait a minute, 1 plus 1 is what? 5, 4. Close, we're close, man. But I think both answers are good. Why? Because we identify as, and we know that's the way it should be. And by the way, we're going to use democracy. Let's vote who thinks that 4, the answer 4, and the answer 5 are the right answers. And the idiot, clip, both of them. The guy is going to be 1 against, 2, 1, democracy for you. So that's when truth is determined by hands up and democracy, which should never be determined by that, by argumentation, by by studying, empirical observation, and so on, tested against other theories and so on. So here is, my friends. That's why I think Putin and Russia will not be defeated, as these guys think. They know. They can't be so tards. Some of them are, because they say it. They open their mouths, it's like, oh, I was thinking like this in kindergarten, Jesus Christ. Well, that's okay. But they are presidents, they are vice presidents, they are defense secretaries, they are this and this and that. They all have titles and make a lot of money, and they're in charge of you and I, unless you're Biden, and my bad, not. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.